How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper. My goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading with the prices going up or down. China has taken its social credit system to the metaverse. One of China's state-owned telecom firms, China Mobile, aims to create a digital identity system for any and all users of online virtual worlds. So China has been slowly but surely implementing a credit score system, and it appears they want to apply it to virtual worlds, as the suggestion indicates that the country is bidding to link the person's natural and social characteristics to their digital ID, as well as establishing ways to permanently store that information. Coinbase buys stake in Circle, dissolving USDC issuer center. Center Consortium, which issues the second largest stablecoin USDC, has been dissolved as Coinbase acquires a minority share in Circle Internet Financial. Center will no longer exist as a standalone entity, and Circle will remain as the issuer of USDC, bringing any Center governance and operation responsibilities in-house. This was a joint announcement by the Circle CEO and Coinbase CEO. So this means that there will be no additional USDC issuers like there was promised by the consortium from 2018, which is what that says. The blog post also said that USDC will launch on 6 new blockchains through the end of October, so they will be available on more networks, even though they're becoming a little more centralized. So take it how you want, but onto the charts. Over on the total market cap for the daily, we are getting a rejection from our resistance. We did get a bounce off our support as well, so we hit both points today. We are currently under that Fibonacci level, so if we confirm under it, we could see some further downside action and possibly lower prices and maybe a breakdown. Our RSI is starting to curl away, stochastic's starting to come out, VWAP's starting to round off, our money flow is starting to come out, and our momentum did have a double green dot, but if that VWAP flops over, we'll likely just ride this oversold area. What that means for our altcoins is we would see a sell-off. Over on Bitcoin dominance, we are getting a pump up, so we are trying to recover a little bit. You can see that by our sell-off on our altcoins, people are buying more Bitcoin than they are altcoins, so that suggests they are selling altcoins for Bitcoin. That could help us come back up toward this gap. Maybe we come back up, test our resistance, and then get rejected and make the rest of our breakdown. We're going to have to evaluate that. Stochastic's trying to head up. Our RSI is trying to head up with it. Money flow is trying to break through that neutral, so our money flow wants to go into a bullish trend. Our VWAP is trying to head up, getting close to that neutral, so pay close attention over the next couple days. If we can break through, we could get some bullish action. However, if we reject away, we could see this further break down. Over on Bitcoin futures, we are going a little bit sideways here, a little bit triangle maybe that could form. RSI is pretty flat, stochastic's pretty flat above that neutral. Our money flow is starting to get a little bit of a pullback, so we could see our futures pull down even lower, and that could mean we could see this 20k zone fill. Why that's important is futures drives Bitcoin price usually. Our VWAP is starting to roll over. Our momentum does want to come up, so if our momentum can get a green dot, that would be some bullish momentum that could help fill this, but that would be dependent on that VWAP crossing that neutral and becoming bullish. Over on Bitcoin, we are going pretty flat here as well. Little indecision hammer candle, RSI is starting to curl off. Stochastics in the oversold area is starting to head a little bit upwards, but not with very much strength. Our VWAP is in the bullish territory, doesn't have very much strength on that either. Our money flow is coming out. Our momentum does have a double green dot since our VWAP broke to the bullish side, so we're going to need that VWAP to sustain bullish momentum on our lower time frames if this is going to sustain. Over on the 4-hour, we are trading sideways still, so we do still have that possible bear flag that could break us lower. Stochastic's trying to head up, doesn't really have much room to go. We are making lower highs actually with here, as we did come up. So the stochastic could form some sort of divergence if this continues. If we continue to push up and the stochastic just keeps going sideways, very slowly up, then we won't see a consistent high, and we could get bearish divergence. That could be what could give us the strength to snap down. RSI is starting to curl up. Our VWAP is trying to push up. Our money flow is starting to curl away. Our momentum does have a bullish divergence, so that wants to help propel us up. So we do have a little indecision here. We have some bullish signals, but we also have signals starting to look like they could pull away, so just keep an eye on it. Over on the 2 hour, stochastic starting to taper off. RSI is getting a red dot, so that could start to come down. Our VWAP is starting to get a bit of a rejection as it got to a new high. Last time it got here, we did kind of zigzag around a little bit, but then we ultimately broke down. So just keep an eye on it. Usually when you get these real high zones, you will get moves downwards after as it cools off. Our momentum is starting to round off. Money flow is trying to maintain bullish momentum, but it's starting to go flat here. If the next few candles end up red, that money flow could start to trend down, and we could see a new bearish trend form. Over on the 1 hour, our price, we have a reversal arrow and a green dot. These setups can be a bullish setup that can propel us up. Last time it didn't really do much, took us somewhat upwards. This one took us up a little bit, but sometimes they don't really do much. So they aren't really I wouldn't say they're 50-50. They might be a little better than 50-50, but they don't always play out exactly. Look for other confirmation. Stochastic is starting to push down. RSI is starting to push down. Our momentum's starting to roll out. Our VWAP is starting to come down. Our money flow is trying to maintain some strength here, but it really can't get over the 12. If we get rejected by this 12, we could ultimately get pushed down and suppressed if the bullish momentum for the money flow doesn't pick up and gain some strength here, as that's needed to push our daily and other time frames higher. Over on graph, that's the same thing for every coin. That's why we cover the daily, 4 hour, 2 hour, 1 hour, because that gives you a more complete view into the market rather than just looking at the daily or one time frame. You kind of want to take it all together. Stochastic is starting to round off. RSI is starting to round off. We are getting pushed down on both, so we are starting bearish trends on those. We could come back down to this value area low and refill these wicks, so keep that in mind. VWAP starting to roll over. Money flow is starting to trend out with slightly lower lows, even though price isn't really getting lower lows, so we could get pushed down from that. Our momentum does want to push up, but with that VWAP struggling, that momentum could just drag along here. Over on the 4 hour, we have a manipulation X here that did bring us down. You don't always need pairs, but usually they appear in pairs. Stochastic's trying to get a little bit of a bounce, but our RSI is starting to lose strength. So if the stochastic doesn't reclaim right around here, then we could get a bearish push down. If we just see it cross and then roll right back over, we could set up another leg down. However, if the stochastic manages to push with the RSI and price moves forward, then we could see a push up. Our money flow is in the bullish territory. We're at about 5, struggling to get above it. If we don't manage to get above it with some strength, then we could see this fall into the bearish territory. VWAP is trying to go back through the neutral, it is in the bearish territory. We'll have to see if it can cross over to the bullish side. Otherwise, we could get rejected and this momentum could drag out from here. Over on the 2 hour, we are getting a little bit of a red candle starting to form here, but overall we are trending up. We do have a bit of an up channel forming, so that could be concerning, as up channels, are descending patterns. If you watch our channel enough, you've seen plenty of those play out just recently. RSI is starting to curl off. Stochastic is trying to run up though, so that stochastic can maintain bullish strength, that RSI may curl back up. our money flow is starting to push down. So that money flow is getting a bit of a sharp rejection from about 14 where it's rejected twice before. If we don't push off the neutral and come back and break through this, we could see further bearish action and downside. VWAP is starting to kind of taper off, so that could bring our momentum away from us and invalidate this green dot, so just keep an eye on that. If the VWAP manages to maintain strength on the 2 and 1 hour, then we could continue with some bullish momentum and push up, but just watch out, because if we form that up channel, that could be something that'll take us lower. Over on the 1 hour, stochastic starting to round off, so we do have a little bit of bearish momentum there as we close a red candle. RSI is trying to bounce up. Our VWAP is rounding out, so if that continues, we could continue with some bearish momentum. That is starting to bring our momentum down on the 1 hour. Our money flow did get a little bit of a bounce off this neutral with the current candle. So if we can continue with green candles here, we could get a little bit of a bullish bounce and we could see the stochastic get bullish cross. However, if this money flow rolls back over, we could break to the bearish side and see another leg down. Over on the daily, we are getting a little bit of a push down, nothing too exciting though. About twice as much as graph percentage wise, so could be twice the bad loss if you look at it that way, but also twice the opportunity to average DCA. Our RSI is starting to curl off, stochastic is starting to curl off, VWAP is starting to curl out, money flow is above that neutral. Testing, we could break into the bearish side, so just be cautionary of that. That momentum does want to come up, so that could be strong for us, but that's dependent on that VWAP. If that VWAP falls bearish, then we could see further bearish action. Over on the 4 hour, RSI is starting to head up, stochastic's getting a bullish cross. Money flow is trying to break through that neutral. It tried a couple times, keeps getting rejected. So if we reject here, we could see another leg down form. Our VWAP is trying to break through that neutral, but doesn't look like it's having very much success. So if our VWAP doesn't push through with some strength, we could just roll back over, kind of like we did back there, and we could see a further downside. That momentum does want to push up, but that's dependent on if that VWAP can manage to gain some strength and keep going. Over on the 2 hour, we do have a bit of an up channel forming here too, so keep that in mind. Stochastic's running up, RSI is trying to run up, that money flow is starting to curl away. We did get rejected from about 7, so we do have some bearish momentum here. That VWAP is trying to push higher, so the VWAP is trying to make a bullish trend. Our momentum is trying to come up as a result. If the VWAP can continue with this, that would be bullish, but we're going to need that money flow to sustain bullish momentum for us as well. Over on the 1 hour, we do have a gap here that we came up and filled, so we could see a rejection from that gap and we could see further downside. Our next support would be these wicks. We don't really have much below that. Stochastic's really tight, wants to cross down. RSI is pretty flat. That VWAP is starting to flatten out. The momentum's starting to kind of flatten out, and the money flow is starting to push down. So keep an eye on that, as we could see further bearish action from that. Over on XRP for the daily, we are getting a hammer candle. This could be indicative of a top if we see another red candle. However, it could also show a bottom if we get a green candle from here. So keep an eye on that. RSI is starting to push down. Stochastic is starting to round off. Our VWAP is starting to push toward the bearish side, so our VWAP could gain some bearish momentum here. Our money flow overall is trending out, and our momentum is starting to curl away as that VWAP is losing strength. So if we set further red candles, we could test this line that we had around that 38 for those supports, and we could also break through this value area high. That value area high would be our first stop, but these would be our second stop where I had that support and where we're pulling control formed. Over on the 4 hour, we have a manipulation X here that wants to bring us down. We didn't really go too far down, so we could invalidate it. Our stochastic is starting to come down. RSI is overall losing strength. That momentum is getting really close to that bearish territory, pushing into it, but that VWAP wants to go bullish, so it could round back up. We are kind of getting wishy-washy with them, so we could get tight, form some sort of flat channel. If we do form a flat channel, we could make some sort of bear flag, so just watch out for that. Over on the 2 hour, RSI is starting to curl off, stochastic's starting to round off. Our money flow is in the bearish territory, about to make another leg down. So if we confirm bearish trajectory, we could see further bearish, further lower prices, like I've been saying. And if we don't get any kind of bullish momentum from if we hit here, then we could even see lower than this. So keep that in mind. RSI is starting to taper, stochastic's tapering, the VWAP's tapering, so overall everything's pretty bearish looking on the lower time frames here. Over on the 1 hour, stochastic's starting to arch out, RSI is starting to do the same. Our money flow is trying to get a bit of a ramp up, so that could be good for us, but we are starting to curl off too, so if we start to set red candles, we could just fall away and see lower price action. Our momentum is trying to come up, and our VWAP is starting to flatten out. So if the VWAP loses strength, that momentum could carry back to the bearish side. We're on the daily for algo, we are getting a little bit of a push down. We have a little bit of a hammer candle forming here as well. Our size starting to fall, stochastic is starting to fall away. Our VWAP is struggling to go over that neutral. Our money flow is pushing down. Our momentum's kind of going flat as our VWAP doesn't know what it wants to do. Over on the 4 hour, our stochastic is trying to push up. Our RSI is starting to taper off. Our stochastic does have bullish strength. We did get bounced over that neutral, so our RSI could correct. Our VWAP is pushing up. That money flow is trying to test that neutral. So if the money flow rejects away, we could see another leg down. But if we break through, we could see some further bullish slide up. And momentum does want to get a green dot with that VWAP pushing, so we're going to have to see if that VWAP can maintain some strength. Over on the 2 hour here, stochastic starting to push up, our RSI is starting to lose strength, our VWAP starting to lose out, and our money flow starting to push down. So the 2 hours looking a little wishy-washy. We could be meeting resistance, and we could fall away. So watch out for that, as we could form some sort of flag if we make a lower low, but if we make a higher low, we could form some sort of ascending triangle that could push us up. Over on the 1 hour, stochastic is starting to push away, RSI is trying to push higher, our momentum is starting to lose its strength, as our VWAP is coming toward that neutral. That VWAP, our money flow, does want to push higher, so that is pushing against the neutral on the bearish side. If that money flow can cross, we could get a bullish trend to form, and we could see some strong bullish moves up. However, if we reject away from here, we could see some further lower side and fill these wicks that we have back here. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a wonderful night.